Welcome to episode 2 of How I See It. Today, I am going to tell you how I see abortion. Um, for those of you who watched yesterday, you might notice I'm wearing the same shirt. That's because I did episode 1 last night, right after I got out of the shower. It is the next day, and yes, I'm still wearing the same shirt because I figure, why dirty another shirt? Lazy like that. Anyway, uh, how I see abortion. Personally, I would never have one. I have 3 wonderful kids. I cannot imagine um, not having them. Anytime I got pregnant, I wanted the baby. So it's really not a it's a no-brainer for me that I wanted kids, got pregnant, had kids. Um, but as pro-life as I mean, for myself, I am pro-life. For others, I'm pro choice because that is not my decision to make for somebody. How they feel about it. Some people don't want to be parents, and sometimes they take all of the precautions to not get pregnant and they end up pregnant. Now, that was something they hadn't planned, they had tried to prevent. And if they feel like they are not, like that, they either don't want kids, period, or they're not in a place in their life where kids are good, I'm thinking about, like if you've got a drug problem and your housing situation isn't great and your life is just a shambles, and it's the absolute wrong time. Now, some people choose to have those babies. Some people choose to have babies that they don't want and they give them up for adoption because some part of them does not agree with abortion. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe they figure they'll change their mind. Who knows? It's not my place to make that decision for them. It's not anybody's place. It is between them, maybe the father, if the father is part of their life. But really, the father, it's kind of like, well, dude, you gonna carry the baby? I mean, it's not like he's got to carry the baby and deal with mood swings and water weight gain and possibly toxemia. He's not going to have to really deal with a lot of the stuff that goes with that, and he can go on and create many more babies up until he's like 100 years old. He can create more babies. uh, anyway, I really get upset with how a lot of the pro-lifers act like people who get abortions are baby killers, they're murderers, like it's like they're doing something so malicious and evil, and it's not. It's a personal choice that they've made, and a lot of them, I think, don't make it lightly. I think a lot of them weigh things up, and you also have to look at, like I said, some people go for any means necessary not to get pregnant aside from abstinence, because expecting somebody who doesn't want kids to not have sex is ridiculous, especially if they're married. And if they're under a certain age, a lot of times they can't get their tubes tied. And even if they did get their tubes tied, I knew a service woman who got her tubes tied on 3 separate occasions. And after those 3 times, she still got a baby. And it was not a tubal. That's another thing. You end up with tubals when you get tubal ligation. I'm hoping for her sake, because she loved her kids, I'm hoping for her sake that the 4th time she got her tubes tied, it worked for her. She had 7 kids by this point. Um, but it happens even when you're not trying to, and choosing to get your tubes tied and stuff. Like I said, some places won't do it until I think 25, or until you've had 3 kids. They won't allow it. The insurance won't pay for it. And I have to wonder about those the Catholic run insurances where they don't like to pay for birth control and family planning. I wonder if they cover tubal ligation. Anyway, I don't look at these people as they're not a person who chooses to have an abortion is not somebody who says I'm killing babies today. No. Chances are it's something that they're struggling with, whether they're struggling because they were raped and they ended up getting pregnant, whether it's there's something wrong with the baby and they won't carry it to term, or if they do carry it to term, it's going to suffer after being born, or it's going to have so many problems, things like that. Because I cannot imagine, if any of my 3 babies, if I would have carried them and then found out, oh, they're going to be born with no kidneys, so they're going to die within 3 days of being born. I don't know that I would be able to mentally deal with all that. I mean, you got to think of what kind of stress that puts on a mom, on anybody's mind, that they're carrying this baby, they're loving this baby that's inside of them, and they know that they get such a limited time with them. And that's just sad. Some people would choose not to do that. Some people would choose to say, well, at least I get 3 days. And that's great for them. But some of us are not mentally strong enough to deal with that. I do think that when it comes to a question of abortion, that any place that provides it should give the person who wants the abortion 2 points of view. Basically have like 2 people or a group of people, but this person needs to hear from both sides of somebody who's had an abortion. The person who regrets the abortion and the person who's glad that they did it. That's, they need to hear from the one who regrets, they need to hear why. And granted, their story may not be the same, the circumstances may not be the same, and that's okay. Just hearing 2 sides of it, not a pro-life, pro-choice side, but I've had this procedure and here's how I feel about it. Because it might change somebody's mind. It might make them say, you know what? This person thought that they couldn't do it, and now they're saying that they could have, or this person had this issue going on, and but ultimately, it's between you and your God. If you think that abortion is wrong, if you think you're going to burn in hell for getting an abortion and you choose to get one, okay, you still made the choice. It's your choice to make whether you're going to, just like if you're going to go out and shoot somebody, it's your choice. Nobody's holding the gun in your hand. Nobody's making you hold the gun. And it's the same with a baby. Nobody makes a girl go get an abortion. People can coerce, they can push, but ultimately, when she gets in that doctor's office, even if she's 12, if she tells the doctor, I don't want this, the doctor has to listen to her. The doctor has to say, then we're not going to do it. No matter what, the fact that she's a minor or what's going on, the doctor's going to listen to his patient. So you can't be forced to get one. You can be pushed, but most people aren't going to push you and everything. But, and you gotta love these people that go through a whole pregnancy and they choose after everything to give a baby up for adoption, to say, I'm going to give this baby a stellar life. I have to give props to those people because I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that I could carry a baby to term, go through the pain of actually bringing them into the world and and how do you not develop a bond? I don't understand how somebody couldn't develop a bond. But you go through all that, and then you just hand the baby over to somebody to say, here's your blessing. That takes a lot of, I don't know, that's probably the biggest sense of giving that anybody can have. And a lot of these people who get abortions, they're scared. They don't want to be moms right now. They don't, you know, they don't want to do it alone. They got all these horror stories. They got all this stuff going on. And, so we can't say that nobody should be able to get one. It's just wrong, because everybody should have that choice. It's their body. It's their offspring. It's their choice. Now, I don't agree with, doing it at 7 months, but, in the beginning, before the first trimester is over, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, you could go in for an abortion and maybe in the cards that baby was going to be born stillborn. You don't know. No matter how hard you try, you don't know you don't know that fetus is going to be a healthy, living baby when everything's said and done. You don't. So maybe that abortion that's being had is a baby that she was going to miscarry anyhow on accident. I mean, there's no telling. So she may not be killing that baby. And it's not really, in my opinion, it's not a baby yet. But although I considered my fetuses my babies, but that's me. I'm entitled to feel that way about me. Would I tell my daughters not to get an abortion? I would talk to them. I would discuss pros and cons. I know people who have had abortions. I know how they feel about their decisions. So with my daughters, I would more than likely, you're so cute, Butters. I got a cat playing with me. It's their decision. It's their body. Just like at 18, if they say, I'm getting married to this guy that you hate, Mom, what am I going to do? They're 18. I can say, I don't like this guy. I really think you're making a mistake. But ultimately, it's their decision whether they make a decision that's screwed up or the right decision. I'm not judge and jury. I don't know. I mean, maybe they marry this guy I hate and he ends up being perfect, and takes my daughter to heights that I know she wouldn't go to herself, because we're all lazy around here. So maybe he gets her doing something, gets her into something that changes her life in a good way. We can't decide we can't predict where the decision is headed. We can say, I got a good idea. This cat. But that's how I see it. That abortion for me is wrong. Abortion for you is your choice between you, your God, and perhaps your significant, or perhaps the Father. That's it. Thank you. Have a great day.